So in this video, we are talking about rounding decimals. First, you understand that to round the decimal to the desired place, we underline the digits in the place to be rounded. If the digit that precedes the underlined digit is 5 or more, then you increase the underlined digit by 1, you round it up. What do I mean by this? For example, if I have 136.315 and the question says I should round it up to 2 decimal places. So if I'm rounding up to 2 decimal places, it implies that I'm going to be moving this decimal point twice to the right. I mean, in 2 places. It doesn't change the fact that the decimal point is here, but the digit in the 2 decimal places here is what? 1, right? So the question is, what I'm now going to be doing with this 5? It implies that since this 5, because that is the number that precedes the underlying digit, which is 1, and is up to 5, it will affect this and turn this to 2. So this will now be what? 136.3 what? 2 to what? 2 decimal what? Places. All right, so that is that about that. But if it tells us to round it up to, like, now this 136.32 to 2 decimal places is actually the same thing as 5 significant figures. When we say significant figures, we are talking about the number of non-zero digits in a number system. So in that case, this is the first significant, second, third, fourth, fifth, right? So that is that about that. So we are going to be looking at it from another angle in the following example. So look at this question now. This question says round 52.348 to the nearest integer and b to the nearest 100th. So the first thing is we are rounding it up to the nearest integer. To the nearest integer basically means to the nearest whole number, right? To the nearest whole what number. That is what it means. So rounding it up to the nearest whole number, it implies that any digit after the decimal point, they have to be 0. But we cannot just turn all of this to be equal to 0. We need to confirm, right, if we are rounding it up to the nearest whole number, because the whole number part is this 52 while the decimal points are this. So now let's see how we're gonna be doing that. So the first thing is we have what? 52.348. so don't forget that our decimal place, the place value we are focusing on is 2, because that is the digit that precedes decimal point. So let's start from the last digit. This is 8. 8 is above 5, it will affect 4. If it affects 4, it will turn 4 to 5, right? Then since 4 is 5, this one becomes 0 now. Now 5 is actually one of those digits we consider that can have impact on the next digit. So this 5 now we affect 3, so 5 will become 0 and 3 will now become what? 4, right? So this 3 becomes 4. Since 4 is not up to 5, it cannot have any impact on 2. So therefore 52.348 is the same thing as what? 52, right? To the what? Nearest what? Integer. Okay, so now let's move on. That is that about that. That is for A. Then for B, we want to look at to the nearest 100th. Before I proceed to explaining to the nearest 100, I need to explain certain concepts. If you have a number like, let's say, 101.112, now the digits that precede the decimal points here, this one is known as ones digit or unit what? Digit. Okay, then the following digit here is known as the what? The tens digits, while this one is what? Hundreds. Note something, I didn't put th, but after the decimal point, this digit here is the 10th digit. This one is the what? 100th hundredth digit, while this one is the what? Thousandth what? Digit. All right, now there's something I'm trying to bring out. Our interest now is to determine the place value that we are going. So we have 52.348. Obviously from this number, the 10th to, I mean the 100th digit is 4, because if you look at this, this is the unit digit or ones digit, this is the what? Tens digit. But after the decimal point, this is the 10th digit, and this is the what? 100th digit. So that means that something must happen to this 8. And how do we truncate this 8? Because 8 is above 5, you know, we're talking about 5 and above, it will have impact on this 4 and turn this 4 to 5, you know, by rounding it up to 5. So this one will now give us what? 52 points what? 3 what? 5 to the what? Nearest what? Nearest 100th. Nearest 100th. All right, so that is that. I want to believe this video has helped someone. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.